As somebody who's in college, like I'm literally about to walk into class right now in 10 minutes. If you don't have a full ride scholarship, you should not be here.
According to new statistics, college graduates and non-college graduate men have the same unemployment rate. And it may be kind of confused because throughout our entire lives, we always heard that college was the key to success. But apparently, not anymore. An article written by Fortune says here, Gen Z men with college degrees now have the same unemployment rate as non-grads, a sign that the higher education payoff is dead. And apparently also by Financial Times, it says that young men with no degree have the same unemployment rate as men with degrees. And compare that to 2010, the rate was 15% right here for men without a degree and 7% for men with a degree. And obviously back then, white-collar work wasn't really offshored as much as blue-collar work because back then they would ship out blue-collar work to like Mexico, China for whatnot, and that was really a common occurrence for white-collar practice. And now we're seeing offshoring with white-collar work that we haven't seen before. And people are just pretty much aren't prepared for it because we never thought that this day would ever come. And the playing field is even, and spending tens of thousands of dollars for a degree is not even guaranteed a return anymore. And I think this revelation will cause people to reconsider going to college in entirety or probably switching to the trades to save money. Let me know what you guys think about this revelation.
This guy is absolutely right. I don't know if you guys have seen the same article or have read similar things like this, but yeah, it is a fact that unemployment rate for young men with a college degree is now similar or the same comparing with young men without a college degree. And I think that stems from the fact that back in the 80s or 90s, America had a lot of jobs that were lost, a lot of jobs in the factories or blue collar work that were outsourced to like overseas, China or Japan. And these countries took those jobs, and America kind of moved up the value added chain, if you will. And a lot of people started working or majoring in computer programming, computer science, or, finance, those types of work. But now what we see is that the trend is kind of reversing in a way that a lot of these jobs are doing mass layoffs, like a lot of these big tech or finance jobs, and they're just not requiring as much people workforce anymore. And a lot of those jobs were overhired during COVID, and now because of AI, these jobs are going to be hiring less in the future. And blue collar work is making a comeback, and a lot of people are getting into trades, and there's a huge demand for plumbers or electricians. So that makes going to college in some cases almost an outdated concept if your goal is to find a good job with your degree, because a lot of companies nowadays really prioritize work experience and your skills and what you really know versus the college degree that you have or what college you went to, because these things, they don't really prepare you for the real world anymore.
I'm trying something new. This is my last-ditch effort. I am drowning in student debt. I have over $75,000 in student debt, and I'm not even done with school. Please stay to the end of this video, as it would help me tremendously. So here's what I'm doing. I saw this girl who paid off all of her student loans, all of her debt, all from filming TikTok videos. How crazy is that? I decided, why not give it a try? So all I need to do is post at least 1 minute long videos. Those qualify for like a paycheck. This is episode 1 of trying to pay off my student loans. It would help a lot if you liked, comment, or shared this video. That would boost this video out to different FYPs. I'm hoping I can start paying off my student loans soon. Other than that, if there's any other content that you want to see, also put that in the comments. I do want to know what you guys want to look at and what content you want to see. Hopefully this is the start of something new, but I'll see you guys in the next one.
Is here about that girl who, she's a high school teacher, and she also teaches yoga on the side and is really into student well-being and student mental health and supporting student mental health. So she went back to get her doctorate degree, and she's currently in school. She took out student loans, obviously was prepared to have to pay back student loans, but thinks it's well worth it. And however, her summer tuition isn't covered by her student loans. So she started posting on TikTok, and her TikToks blew up, which started to be able to help her pay back her tuition and her student loans, which is affording her now being able to go back into the field and try to change the system to better support student well-being in our education system. Oh, also she's a new mom. Yeah, she decided to have a baby while in grad school, pursuing her doctorate while also being a high school teacher. Yeah, I don't know why she did that. That was a bold move. But yeah, her baby's like not even a month old. So anyways, want to just press that like or follow? That'd be great.
Let's talk about being unemployed post-grad. All right, the news is out. I'm unemployed. Am I okay? No, I'm not okay. I've never not had something in my life giving me an every single day schedule. I was thankful enough right after college, I had an internship and it was amazing. They actually made the position for me. I ended up being there for 6 months because they extended my internship. Loved the company, loved the people, but sadly, since it was a smaller company, they only had room to hire one more new hire on my team and they needed a more senior level, which obviously is not me. I just graduated college. Also, I was fully remote, which is not my thing, so we all knew it was just like not gonna work for me to stay because that's not what I wanted. But because of that, now I'm unemployed. First time actually saying it on the internet. I think I've kind of just been in denial and it's been a challenge. Now I am on the hunt for a full-time job and it is challenging to say the least. Not an easy process. Job market is horrible. Today marks 2 weeks of being unemployed. It hasn't been super long. I'm trying to remind myself that these things do take time. But I will say, nobody prepares you for being unemployed post-grad. It is one of the most challenging, humbling experiences. Honestly, it was my biggest fear. I've spent literally all of my life working my ass off so that I wouldn't have to be unemployed. But sadly, you could be doing all the right things and all the right steps. The reality of it is there is a chance that you are going to be unemployed post-grad. Sad to see too how many people will not help you get to where you need to be. I think it's important to remember everybody started here. Everybody started not having something, searching for something. Everybody starts at the bottom. I have been on calls and in talks with CEOs, senior level people, directors, HR people, getting all the connections, all the advice that I need. And it is sad to say that there's some people that just won't help you. I've been ghosted by people at companies that were supposed to help me and continue to guide me and hopefully getting an interview and next steps. People are going to disappoint. Something I remind myself, and this is why I would never be that person who doesn't want to help someone, is people you meet on the way up are the same people you're gonna pass on the way down. So always remember that. But if you're in this same boat as me and it's just taking a toll on you, which it is quite literally taking a toll on me, you're not alone. We got this. Keep working your ass off and keep remembering that you're gonna end up where you're supposed to be. You're gonna get somewhere. Good things take time. So I guess this is my public announcement that I'm unemployed and that it's hard. But if you're dealing with the same thing, going through the same thing, I'm right there with you. So just know, my friends, you're not alone. I know it'll be okay, and it'll be okay for you guys too. So let's do this thing.
College is a scam. The American college system is a scam. And I say that as somebody who is in college and will continue to be in college until I get my degree. Why are they making me take all these unnecessary classes that I'll never use a day in my career? Tell me, why do I need to take college algebra? It's not necessary. Oh, it's good for your brain. You know what else is good for my brain? Not getting in debt for college classes that are never going to be useful for my career. Why are they not taking some of my college credits from another school? Oh, you took chemistry and you got an A at Arizona State University, but we can't take it because we think our introduction to chemistry is better suited. Why? Oh, we gotta evaluate to make sure that class will actually count with us. You're a community college. Let's tone the ego down a little bit. Not to mention, every single time I meet with an advisor, they're like, oh, actually, I know last time we said you only have 2 more classes to take. It was a lie. You actually have 3 more classes on top of the 2 that you were told that you need to take. It's a scam. It's a scam. Just give me the classes that I need to be successful in my career. Don't put all this extra fluff in it just because you think it's fun and good for my brain.
I owe over $300,000 in student loans. Let me tell you how. So I'm a nurse practitioner. My husband is a pharmacist. My husband went to private school for his entire pharmacy school. I went to a public university for my nursing degree and then a private school for my nurse practitioner degree. We both took out student loans for everything. You know, at 18, you think you're going to be able to pay everything back because both of those jobs make good money. So why am I complaining? This economy is just so expensive right now. I know it's our fault, I guess, for taking out all these loans, but I would love to be able to pay them off. So here I am on TikTok working to have extra income. So I would love if you follow me along on this journey to paying off our loans and just, you know, living life the best we can in the current circumstances. So tell me how much you owe in student loans and if you regret it.
Hey, so this is probably the most vulnerable post I will have ever made in the history of time. And for those of you who this little blue halo is already triggering you, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna hopefully make you feel better, and I'm honestly having a weekly crash out. I need help from you as well. This is how much money I owe in student debt for my physician assistant degree. And before you go ahead and take out the phrase that is so commonly used, oh, but you knew how much you were taking out in the beginning. No, a lot of this has to do with interest alone accruing, while I am in a hell of a limbo of what we like to call administrative forbearance, trying to get into the SAVE plan. So I worked with a student loan counselor after I graduated, and I was told to consolidate all of my Direct Plus grad student loans to be one loan so that I could apply to the SAVE repayment plan. Right as soon as I started and submitted my application was when all of the chaos happened in the courts, where they just can't get their head out of their ass and figure out what they're doing. And so I never actually got into the SAVE plan. And so I have been accruing interest at a 7% rate. I've not had to pay my monthly payment. My monthly payment has been $0 because of a previous tax return when I was making $0 income as a student. But still, this amount is a literal noose around my neck. And I don't think I will ever pay this off. I fear that I will not be able to ever own a home as someone still earning 6 figures salary, let alone children. I would love and aspire to have a child someday, but this really, I don't want to say like makes me suicidal, but like it truly makes it really hard to get out of bed every morning. And I know I'm not alone. I know I don't even have it that bad, but I'm truly asking as a cry for help, like how you compartmentalize the stress of something like this, knowing that you'll never, ever get out of debt, because it would take an act of God to take this amount away. And people repay the principal loan multiple times over in situations like me, but they never get rid of their debt because of the system at hand. And that is what is so fucked about student loans for people in advanced degrees like doctor, nurse, anesthetist, nurse practitioner, physician assistant. What else can I think of? Any degree program that takes multiple loans and at least 6 figures to take out to go to these programs. And I did this to get a better life for myself, get a salary that actually amounted to something for my future family. And yet this is what happened. And a lot of it wasn't even the fault of my own, because I had no way of predicting that this would happen. I had no way of knowing that SAVE would not be around in the future. PSLF is my only option. I do work at a 501c3, but even then, the payment is like pushing almost $1,000 a month, and that will soon become even unaffordable for me. So yeah, I'm literally at a loss.
I graduated with approximately $500,000 worth of student loan debt. These are my thoughts on the skyrocketing monthly payments. When I was in school, we actually had like a couple-hour seminar on student loan debt and how you can go around repaying it. It could either be through working for a nonprofit where you make way less money, but at the time they had promised that the loans would be forgiven after 10 years. The other way was to do income-based repayment. And during the seminar at my school, I raised a lot of concern. I told people around me, and I also asked the professors, like, hey, the administration changes every 4 years. How are you guaranteeing that this works for people in the future? And honestly, I did not believe it at all. I was very lucky that I was one of the few that was not duped, but with that much student loan, I knew I needed an action plan. I decided to just do my own plan, and so I decided to move to a state that had no state income tax, and I worked my butt off. So I would work around 12 to 16 hours, 5 days a week, and then on the weekends, I would go and substitute into other clinics and work there. So essentially, I was working 6 to 7 days a week, most weeks the first couple years that I graduated. And this is not ideal for everybody. But in my mind, I had a burdensome amount of debt that I knew I had to repay. And so I worked my butt off to get a lot of that paid down in the first 2 years alone. I had no work-life balance. It was actually very stressful and very horrible. But in my mind, I had taken out these student loans, and so I needed to repay them, and I didn't feel comfortable or confident relying on the government or anybody else to save me from my own student loans. A lot of people are coerced into taking out high student loans without really understanding the implications of it, and that's something that needs to be addressed. Institutions also need to be held more accountable. There is no reason why a school should be charging hundreds of thousands of dollars to get through and start your career.
I just spent an hour trying to figure out student loan forgiveness. I'm a teacher. I want to get the 5-year loan forgiveness. That's my goal. I am a special ed teacher. I have worked in low income and behavioral settings. I have 2 more years to go until all of my loans could be wiped clear, and that was always my goal. I was trying to call different places. I called the Department of Education. I called my local education, regional office, and I called my state office. The most helpful was actually the Department of Education. The lady was phenomenal. And I could tell that she felt so bad. We were literally, so we go on to the student loan thing, right? And we're looking at the requirements for the teacher loan forgiveness. I should meet all the requirements. I am a special ed teacher. I work in a high needs area. All of it should be good. Then there's this thing that you can search your school just to double check. I have searched the school in the past. My schools have checked out. But I was like, you know what, let's double check before I switch out of the SAVE program. We go to double check. There are no schools for Illinois in the drop down thing. Then we start to get some schools when we go back to 22 to 23. You get 3 schools in Chicago, 1 school in Rockford, 1 school in Aurora. You mean to tell me that there's no more than 1 school in Rockford and Aurora that are high needs and only 3 schools in Chicago? There's no other schools. And so her and I both were like, this is really weird. Maybe the system's not updating. She's like, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I wish there was more that I could do. She said, here's somebody that it says on my end, this is all I can see, but try to call these people. So that's when I called the Illinois Department of Education. They were like, yeah, we can't do anything for you. The best we can do is give you this email. I said, well, I already emailed them. Do you know how long it takes to get back? No. Okay. Well, you do know that they gave us less than a 30-day notice for this. Is there anything you can do? No. Okay. So that's how it's going. Just if anybody wants to know.
You want to know what the biggest waste of money is? Is a college degree. A lot of people think that you can't have a good job, that you can't succeed in life without that degree, and that's simply not true. Now, I do have a master's degree in Homeland Security, and I have undergrad in business. However, college is not for everybody, and just because you don't have that degree doesn't mean you can't make it in life. In fact, most people who get out of high school and go straight to the workforce and work hard, they actually have more experience and knowledge in that field than somebody who went to college to study that field.
My student loan payment is due today for this much, which means
that I'm gonna go down from the 6 figures. Okay, I think my payment might have hit. Yes! Okay, so it's finally below 6 figures. Slay. And then I'll probably make like a $2,000 extra payment, which will hopefully go towards the principal here within like the next day or so. Okay, so with my current plan, this is when I'll have it paid off. But I'm trying to speed that up, so let's see how this number changes.
I'm still getting so many comments on that silly, stupid little TikTok I posted thinking that magically my student loans were gone. So this is another PSA. If you have Nelnet loans or federal student loans through Nelnet and you log in and it also looks like they're gone, go to My Documents, the tab at the top, go to Documents, go to Inbox, then look in your letters, because I found my letter that said it was transferred. And I found that pretty quickly after I posted my video. And I tried to post a follow-up video to let people know that it wasn't real. But no one's really seeing that TikTok. So if you saw any of my other TikToks, please go check. If you have a Nelnet account, go check to see if you also got the letter and that it was too good to be true. So have fun paying them off. Yay.
I used to be so proud to say that I'm like a first generation college graduate in my family because my mom and my dad or my brother all didn't go, which is fine. And my mom would always tell me, like, Abby, go to college because you will earn more in your life than what we have now. Like growing up, you will do better than how you grew up. That's what I thought. So that's why I went to college. Tell me why. Like, I'm about to be how old my mom was when she first started having kids. They already had purchased 7 acres of land. We're in the process of building their own home, and I can't even afford like gas. Like, I can barely even afford my fucking rent. Like, the idea of buying a house one day is just so abstract to me and just unobtainable. And the fact that like I went to college, like I did all the right things, and like I'm no better off at all. Like, honestly, I think I'm a little bit, we all are a little worse off, because like 20 years ago our dollar went a hell of a lot farther than it does now. Like, was college even fucking worth it?
The fact that I was bawling my eyes out at this event, and then we had another guest speaker that came up, and he said burning desire is when you are sitting there and truly thinking about the type of person that you want to be, and you have tears within your eyes. And that was just happening for me. I was like, absolutely, this is the way to go. And I know that I don't need a backup plan, so why am I in college? Why am I scared? I just need to drop out. I'm going to start writing down stuff of what I'm going to lose by dropping out of college. And then I'm going to write down what my successful life will look like. And then I will write down what my life looks like right now, so I can see what it's going to look like when I'm at rock bottom, how it would look like if I needed to get back into my mediocre life, and then how easy it would be to be successful, because I already said it's gonna happen. I'm just waiting. And already I've met a girl that I'm probably gonna be moving in with, and we are going to lock down and be so successful together, because I finally have found someone that wants extraordinary and not just normal. But you guys choose to stay average because you say it's normal and it's comfortable. Make it make sense.
So college grads are doing everything right. They're getting degrees, they're applying like crazy, but they are not getting jobs. Why is this happening? The unemployment rate for recent grads is 5.8%. That is higher than it's been in decades, and it's much higher than the general population. There are some different theories. One, college degrees may be becoming less valuable. A lot of the entry-level jobs are no longer requiring a degree in order to consider candidates. And of course, AI. So as you've probably seen, AI agents, AI technologies, they're able to do the easier tasks. So things like customer service, help centers, data processing, even some coding. Is AI is making the individuals that already have jobs so much more efficient that less of the entry-level people are needed. And we will probably continue to see this trend. But if you're this, you're reading news, I am, we're ahead of the curve. Awareness is the we need to see what's happening so that we understand how to pivot and how to advise our children to pivot. I'm your friend who's trying to figure out AI with you. follow for more news on AI.
I was being nosy and listening to a couple of girls that work at my gym's conversation, and they were talking about how they've had all these job interviews, applied to all these jobs, can't get a job. Now they have to work at a gym. Literally everyone is in this predicament. It's so frustrating. Like, everyone I talk to, they're having these interviews, sounds like it goes great, and they didn't get the job. Who are the companies hiring then? I have not heard one person say, wow, the interview went great, I got hired. Who are they hiring? Additionally, what are we doing? Serving burgers and bartending is really, really burning me out. I'm really sick of it. Do I money launder? Is that even profitable? I could not be a stripper. Pole dancing is so hard. I could never look graceful up there. I really don't know. What are we doing, guys? That isn't serving and bartending. How can I make some money? I've honestly had every random job in the world, so I feel like I could do anything, honestly.
What she is saying, it's kind of my experience as well, so I definitely agree. What it is oftentimes people still have this outdated concept, this misconception that what companies look for is a college diploma, is a degree. But nowadays, as you could see, a lot of times, more and more often, what a company looks for is work experience, and they're more lenient on the college degree, and a lot of companies actually don't care anymore whether you got a degree, but they really would like you to have prior work experience. And that kind of in turn puts college graduates in a weird spot, because a lot of what college graduates have is a degree, and they don't necessarily have the skill sets, they don't have the work experience. So if that's what a company looks for, they don't have that, then they essentially wasted 4 years of their life and hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases for something that is no longer required, and something that most people have that doesn't really give you an advantage at all. So it's just really a huge waste of resources and money.